Hey everybody, so I'm going to show you how to do an air layer. It's the beginning of fall or in fall right now. It's not the best time to do it, um, but just for educational purposes, I'm going to do it for you. So these are the things I'm using. I'm using zip ties, a plastic bag, any sandwich bag. You don't even have to use this. You could use plastic wrap. It's just harder to do it that way. A razor blade, some sort of cutting tool, something that you can eventually sterilize using like peroxide and water, and then just soil that is moist but not like dripping water when you squeeze it, because if it does, then it's gonna be too wet and it could create rot in the branch that your air layer. So ideally you want to squeeze it, let it go, and have it hold together. Right now I'm using peat moss. I prefer coco coir because peat moss has all these little sticks in it, which is not the best for doing rooting or air layering, but it's actually pretty cheap to get some peat moss. You can just go to your Lowe's or Home Depot to grab some. So yeah, let's get started. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this bag with just enough dirt or peat moss. You want to kind of cramp it in there. That way the soil gets a good connection with the branch. Okay, so don't put too much in because you want to be able to close the bag and zip it up. This is just going to help you later when you go to try to put it on or around the branch. Try to flatten it out and push the air out. That'll also help you. And then once you have the air out, just seal it. And now that you're at this step, you want to take your knife and try not to cut yourself. Then take no responsibility for anyone cutting themselves. Be very careful. You want to cut down the middle of this bag all the way to the ends. It's gonna feel like the dirt's gonna fall out, and it might, but you need that far of a cut in order for it to be wrapping around the branch easily. So let's get to the branch and then I'll show you how to go from there. Alright, so for educational purposes, I'm going to be using this branch, which is on the citrus tree that does not really grow me much fruit at all. And this is actually one that I grafted a lemon to. It's a little bit late in the fall to be doing this, but I'm gonna try it anyway and see if I can get this thing to root so that I can have a producing lemon tree from this graft. If you look closely, if I can zoom in here, right here is where the graft was, and you can see it's all healed over and it's ready to grow for the next spring. So let's get started here. What I'm gonna do is probably gonna start off lower on the branch. This is the part that is from the original tree. So what you want to do is cut around the branch. You're just cutting through, I guess what is called the cambium layer. And the reason what you want to do this is so that you can promote rooting, for one, and for two, it doesn't try to go ahead and start healing around itself. It's kind of hard to see where my cut is with the razor. Now you don't have to be perfect with this. Obviously I'm not being perfect with it, but this is easier to do when all of the fluids in the plant are flowing, because then it'll just peel off. Now I'm trying not to cut up towards where my hand is, since I am using a razor blade. Once you get to this point where you've got it all the way around, you want to scratch off all of what could be the cambium layer, because if you don't, then it's, like I said, it's going to try to heal over on itself and your air layer is going to fail. All right. Now that we got it at this point, I'm going to take the bag with all the soil in it, with the slit side towards the branch, and I'm going to wrap it onto it. Ideally, you want to put the slit side facing up so that if you know, you try to turn it the other way around, all the soil is just going to try to fall out of it. So you put it in the center, try to get it on the center of the soil, wrap it around, and hold it tight with your hand. Once you do that, hold it with one hand, put your first zip tie in the middle. This is going to act as something to hold it on there tightly so that you can get the other zip ties on. You can do this with rope or any other sort of whatever you can use to make this tight enough. I like to use zip ties because they are much easier to use, and once you get the first one on, it'll hold there for you to be able to move the other one around. This next zip tie, it can either go on this end or the bottom end, it doesn't really matter, but you're gonna have one on both ends. What you're trying to do is you're trying to make sure all of the moisture is held inside this bag and that the bag does not move around. Because obviously if this is trying to root while the bag's moving around, it's just gonna break off those roots. And I'm gonna get one more zip tie on the bottom here. Make sure it's on the bag and not pulling off of it like I was just doing. All right, now that that's on there, you just want to cut these off. And if it's during the time when your branch is getting a lot of sun, what you want to do is you want to cover this with tin foil. Right now, I'm not getting any sun on this side since it's late in fall, so I'm just going to leave it uncovered. If this does root, I will do an update on this so that you can see the progress on it. I hope it roots, because then I'll have another lemon tree. Alright, so I want to show you an example of an air layer that I did earlier in the season. And this one is actually on a fig tree. This is the foil that I used to cover it so that it can protect the roots from the sun. So as you can see, if I can get in here, these are the roots on this tree. One thing I forgot to mention is you can use rooting hormone. I didn't use one in this case because figs are actually very easy to root. Let me see if I get this around here. Yeah, so you can see the roots developing mostly at the top and the bottom. And that's the kind of results that you'll get if you do a proper air layer. If you have any questions, just leave some comments, or leave your questions down in the comments. And if you want an update on the other tree, then I'll put one up as soon as I can. I'll let you know if it failed or if it made it or if it got too cold. Alright everyone, thanks for watching this video, and if you would like to see future videos, I'm gonna have some time lapses, progress growth on things like this mango and this papaya, and I have some calamansi trees that are sprouting up. So yeah, just go ahead, like and subscribe or follow me, whatever you want to do, and if you have any questions, like I said, just leave them in the comments. Thanks. Yeah.